Welcome to episode 16 of the Blockbusters podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Paul.
And today is May 8th, 2013. Today we're going to be discussing some of our guilty pleasure movies.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And,
discussion might not be the word for some of them. Just laying into.
Fight. Brawl.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But I don't know, maybe we want to talk about real quick what is a guilty pleasure movie.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think there's a couple of different things that you can go with for guilty pleasure. There is the film that you watch and all of your friends or everyone that you ever meet and talk to about it has just said to you, like, so, no, that film is shit. Mm-hmm. Why are you even watching this? This film is terrible. And you still like it. You can't necessarily get these people onto your side, but you just really like that film. The other one that I've decided when kind of compiling my list is the sort of film that you say don't like 99.99% of that genre, be it Western, be it romantic comedy. Yeah. You yourself pan all of those films. You say, oh no, that's crap. And then your friend find out, hang on, you actually like, say, Titanic. How can you go on about all this and you like Titanic? And you had to then, like, well, no, actually, there's some very solid performances.
Yes, I love the action. The last 10 minutes are great.
Everyone dies, perfect.
Yes, I like when the guy hits the propeller. That's the only part I liked. I swear.
So yeah, it's not necessarily a fully defined guilty pleasure thing, but I think those two sort of sum up the majority of it. Yeah,
and as I was saying, like, before we got started recording, like, it's different for everyone. Some of the movies we may name may be some of your favorites, or just, like, what is wrong with that movie?
Yeah.
That's a classic. It's an all-time favorite. But, is there something to it, to us, that is slightly taboo, or I don't know if that's the correct word, but maybe wouldn't volunteer that I loved that movie around certain circles. Yeah. And even though they're called guilty pleasures, I think Paul and I both wouldn't have a problem admitting any of these to anyone. If asked if I liked the movie, I would tell them yes, and they can make fun of me and whatever. But I'm still stand by my taste or lack thereof.
Yeah, and for every single one of these films, we can give the reason why we like them.
Yeah, whether it be nostalgia or I don't know, just cheesiness that we've come to love,
or just for some reason that combination of actors is right for us.
Saw it at the right time in our life. It mirrored something, whatever.
Yeah, and of course, 99.999% of people that hear those arguments will still say, but it's crap. And fair dues. That's what they think of the film. But this is what we think of the film. This is our podcast. You go get your own.
Damn right. And this, how much you pay for this? Nothing.
Yeah.
Free.
You don't have to listen to it, but please do keep listening to it.
Yes, what are you saying, Paul, for the love of God?
Yes, maybe I'll erase that. I don't know.
Well, you've already downloaded it, so we already have the stat. Tricked you.
Alright.
Doesn't matter if it gets to the finish or not.
Yeah, just as long as it's been downloaded, that's fine.
But please, you might hear yours here and here. In here and here.
Oh,
yeah. So why don't you toss out the first one? We'll try to keep these to maybe 3 minutes each or 4 minutes. Try to move through them pretty quickly.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think we need to run down cast lists and
unless there's a very specific reason.
Yeah, there will be a reason to bring up some people.
All right. So do you want me to go first?
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'll you toss this first one up and I'll smack it down.
All right. My first one on the list was not the first one I thought of, but I thought better start with this one. It is Wild Wild West, the 1999 film starring Will Smith as Jim West. I'm sure everyone knows the song better than they know the film. And Kevin Kline.
For the much better song.
Yeah. Kevin Kline and Kenneth Branagh, Salma Hayek, a bunch of people.
Yes.
A lot of those people that you think, like, they were in that film? Why were they in this film? And
money.
Why
was Ben Affleck in Paycheck? For Paycheck.
As Kevin Smith said, the title was very apt.
Yes.
But this film, I don't know if it probably was mostly just the time I watched it. It was a time where Will Smith was still fairly up there. He had starred in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I don't know if he'd been in Men in Black 1 at that point, but it was around the time that he started getting the big roles. And there's this film which is basically what I like to think of it as, sort of steampunk western.
That's what they tried for.
Yeah. And yeah, I like the idea of steampunk. At the time, I had no idea what steampunk was. And I like the idea of it's a western that isn't the western that you are used to.
You know who should do steampunk? Nolan.
Ooh.
How would the Nolan verse look in steampunk?
Yeah, that would.
I think that's the right guy, not whoever the hell directed that garbage.
Yeah, I don't know. I would look it up.
It was a little too cheeky, a little too. Look at all this stuff going on.
Oh, Barry Sonnenfeld.
Oh, of course. All right.
And in case you want to listen to it, Kevin Smith has a fantastic story about this film was actually written for the guy who wanted a giant spider to fight Superman in the third act of a film. And then he was taken off the project and given this project.
Yeah. Thank God he screwed up Superman. Yeah. Leave your hands off of Superman. That's been screwed up enough.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that for the most part.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Please, Man of Steel, don't disappoint.
I know.
Please. It's not like the hopes are high at all.
Wow.
We will kill you if it's not a 10.
Right. But yeah, and this film, for whatever reason that I can never quite pinpoint, I just love the character of Jim West. I like that guy making do in this time.
We need a chess clock.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, we got like 40 movies to go through.
I do kind of like the campiness of it.
Fair enough. Like I said, there are no wrong answers.
And yet every single one of my friends was just like, so why do you like that film?
Yeah.
And half the time I had to come back with,
okay,
I don't know, I do.
All right. Allow me to rebut. All right. Here's my rebuttal. Mm-hmm. Weekend at Bernie's. Match. Let me just read you. You'll see a little running theme here in some of my picks.
Yeah.
And it's maybe another actor that'll be coming up again with the next one. But like I was telling Paul before we started, only some of these plot lines could occur in the 80s.
Yeah.
Listen to this. A pair of losers try to pretend that their murdered employer is really alive, but the murderer is out to finish him off. At the weekend party. And yes, of course, you have Andrew McCarthy, like I said, maybe coming up a little bit later for me.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Silverman, who can forget him. Yeah. And Catherine Mary Stewart, one of my 80s crushes, along with Karen Allen. She was also featured in a film I lent Paul, if Paul can think of it, but don't say it now if you can think of it, because I will probably be including it as well, where she plays the wonderful Maggie in that movie.
I think I do know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I may be completely wrong, but I'm fairly certain.
Okay, yeah. So, I just completely ridiculous and stupid movie. I completely agree with that. Anyone that says that. But I love it. It makes me laugh every time. I love when the guy keeps trying to buy the Porsche golf cart. Or when he has the string tied to his hand, he keeps waving to, dead Bernie keeps waving at people. He somehow has sex with someone up there, with the drunk lady, It's just good fun. And the kid buries him in the sand up there the whole time, just wearing shades and nodding. And it's completely idiotic, and I love it.
I can see where you're coming from with that one. I mean,
it's nothing I'm going to say, oh my god, Weekend at Bernie's is on TBS. Cancel everything. No. But I will watch 10 minutes of it and laugh.
Yeah, you'll come into it and be like, oh yeah, I remember this bit. Okay.
Yeah. It's something, it's still got a small little place in my heart, and I do own it. I did receive it as a gift, I think, but
still, it is in your collection.
It is. Yes, I did not re-gift it. Yeah, so I will toss it back to you.
All right. Well, the next one, and just so if anyone trying to keep track, these are in no particular order at this point.
Not chronological, not value.
No, these are just in the order they popped in my head.
Yes,
now.
Pretty much thought.
All right. Love Actually. Now,
actually,
yeah, yes, it is actually in this list. It is not necessarily all around. It's just at number 2 in the list. Now, this film, I know it's a romantic comedy. It is very much a romantic comedy.
You just like it because it has Brits.
That does help. I will say, I'm sure it helps in America as well. But it's starring people like Hugh Grant, Liam Neeson. I mean, I don't think I can not like Liam Neeson. Bill Nighy is in it. You've got Colin Firth, Emma Thompson, Martin Freeman is in it, and Alan Rickman is in it, playing a slightly
less Alan Rickman.
Well, slightly less drunk than he normally sounds. Still a bit tipsy.
You've reached Alan Rickman.
And all of these plot lines coming together, it's actually a little bit more intricate than you would expect. It starts off feeling like, okay, this is just a bunch of love stories. And then round about halfway, 2/3 of the way through the film, you start to see all of these things are actually weaving together. Some of these characters are related, some of these characters know each other very well, and they keep bumping into each other. And then you've just got some really out there things, like there's an actor called Chris Marshall, who was very famous in the UK for being in My Family. And he goes off to America because every girl in America fancies a guy with an English accent. And he says, the first bar I go into, I'll find 3 people willing to sleep with me. And the first bar he goes into, he finds 3 people willing to sleep with him. And they have a roommate who is willing to sleep with him. And it's just slightly off the wall, and you've got all of these fantastic people giving in fantastic performances. And I found myself completely overlooking the fact that it's a romantic comedy and just seeing the comedy and just seeing these fantastic performances. And there's still a bunch of people that say, haha, you love Love Actually. And I'll say, I don't necessarily love it, but I do like it a lot. And maybe I'll give it the old booty call. I don't know.
I could maybe watch that again. I don't know what it was. The circumstances weren't right, and I wasn't feeling it. And
right,
I might give it another chance on cable.
I would recommend it. I mean, Liam Neeson in particular is just. It starts off with he's just lost.
He was also in Battleship. That is my comment.
This is a long time after Love Actually.
Yes, where he's just saying yes to every script.
Yeah, true.
All right. Done there? All right,
yes,
clock. All right. Well, I will continue the Andrew McCarthy love with a little film called Mannequin.
Okay.
Are you familiar, sir?
I have heard of it. I think I've seen a trailer, but unfortunately it's passed me by.
Yep, Andrew McCarthy, Kim Cattrall. You have James Spader in there, little Bilbo himself from Lincoln. That's about all of note. Estelle Getty, I guess, Some people know her. But yeah, Jonathan Switcher is a young artist. He doesn't seem to last in any job he does, but when he builds a mannequin, he makes it so perfect, he falls in love with it. Ew.
I'm actually slightly disappointed I haven't seen this film.
It's the first thing he has made that makes him feel like a real artist.
Aww.
And yes.
Should we move on now?
Of course, Kim Cattrall is the mannequin, and yes, he puts her on the back of a motorcycle, and she comes to life, and it's just wonderful. And it's maybe also well known for the song by Starship, "Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now." We can build this dream together.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah,
I'm familiar with that one.
Nothing's gonna stop us. Yeah, just. Classic cheesy 80s.
It's actually shocking to me how common that type of story is. I think off the top of my head there's Sim 1, and then there's another one where someone accidentally creates a virtual male version of the female self.
I was going to say, I got another theme here. No. Another theme tied in. No. We don't want to spoil that one.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Yes, where apparently men that can't get women find... creative
objects.
80s ways to build them, create them out of magic. Either way, it's something sketchy's going on there.
Yeah. It almost could be said that anything with this particular plot will probably become a guilty pleasure, if not a cult classic.
I want to see Mannequin remade as he's just completely delusional, and she never actually came to life. Right, he just perceived that she was. Right, so it's just him hauling around this mannequin everywhere.
Now that would be good. I mean, or even leaving it a bit ambiguous at the end.
A little K-Pax style, or
Well, actually taking what you said, kind of going off. Robot Chicken did it fantastically with Calvin and Hobbes, where the kid basically goes off the deep end and is like, imagining that him and his friend are killing all of the adults that are trying to keep them apart, and all he's doing is just dancing around this stuffed little toy.
Or major spoiler, Life of Pi, major spoiler. If you've seen Life of Pi, something similar.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, along those lines. Choose what you will to believe, kind of in that.
Yeah, and I do like films that do that, but I'm assuming this film doesn't.
Yeah. But yes, this was not the mannequin that existed, and once again, I will concede it is utter shit. Yeah. But I still love it. The mannequin comes to life and he screws it. Come on, it's great. And it's Andrew McCarthy. Come on. How do you not love it? All right. That's my time on Mannequin. I think I gave it more than it deserved. All right. Back to you, sir. Clock.
All right. The next one is Miscongeniality, and this is one.
Sorry. Snort.
This is one along the same lines as Love Actually. That when people hear it, they say, "How can you like Love Actually?" Not that it's a bad film, because no one I've heard of say it's a bad film. It's just not aimed at me in any way, shape, or form. And this is one that I cannot give a reason for. I like Sandra Bullock in as much as she's not your, say, Carrie in Sex and the City type person where it's like, oh, look at me and all this. She is actually someone that you would expect to meet.
Well, she brings intelligence to like every role. I will say that.
It's not the ditzy
even though she's
person,
clumsy in this, but.
And not the person who is all about fashion or whatever. And
well-informed or
this is an actual human being that would actually join this part of the police force that she's on, and would probably act like this. I mean, it's a very guy-oriented type thing, and she is very much a tomboy.
I do enjoy Shatner in it, I'll say that. I like Shatner.
Is good, and I like Michael Caine as well, playing the...
Very
not said, feminine, but the gay guy who takes her under his wing.
The Tom Gunn or Todd, whatever the guy's
I pulled it up and now I can't be bothered to look it up. And this is one of those films that I sat down to watch because it was just on TV and I had nothing else to do. And by about half an hour into it, I realised I'm actually invested in this. I like some of these characters, I like the situation, I like the idea that they are making fun of the Miss Universe contest or whatever it is, but also respecting it. Because there are people that get into it for the right reason, there are also people that get into it for the wrong reason. And I like that it actually was a slightly intelligent look at this sort of thing in a world where films don't do that, really. These sort of films do not take an intelligent look, they take a romanticized look. And this wasn't it.
I enjoyed it. It's nothing, I'm gonna ever need to feel like I need to see again. But it was all right, and I like Sandra Bullock. I met her on when we were in Savannah when she was filming Forces of Nature. Met her and Affleck. Nice. So I actually met her making a worse movie than the one you just mentioned. Which there's nothing. That I will not be bringing that movie up again ever, probably. So, Forces of Nature fan out there. I would say fans, but fan. Sorry. But then again, this probably isn't the podcast for you. All right. Clock. I'm going to keep it in the 80s again. With a wonderful movie. I'll go ahead and let you name it for me, maybe, with Tom Selleck, Ted Danson, Steve Guttenberg, and a baby.
And a baby.
3 Men and a Baby.
Oh no, I was thinking of Police Academy. Where was I?
Oh, well, Gutenberg was, your go-to there for that. But Gutenberg, the king of the 80s. By any measure. Yeah, I like the movie. I love, Ted Danson trying to powder the baby's butt, all that stuff, and calling his mom on the phone, and like, what do I do? I'm a grown man. I don't know, what's going on. It's, got some heartwarming moments in there. It's still silly because it's, once again, 1987. And you got the huge loft apartment with all the great murals everywhere, I think it's fantastic. Well, I don't know, fantastic might be a bit strong. 3 Men and a Little Lady. Now, that's fantastic. Yes. All sequels to 80s movies. But, it's just... I like the dynamic of those three together. I don't even know if I saw the sequel. I don't think I did. I was like, I think I've seen that movie. It's good. Right. Good where I'm good with that where it is. But, it's got a nice little message to it. And who was the woman there? Nancy Travis. That's who it was. Yeah. as the mom who can't take care of her baby, but 90 minutes later can.
But at the end, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
But then and then they're all living together. I don't know, in some weird 80s thing. 3 guys and a woman together. At least she wasn't plastic at one point, I guess. So she's got that going for her.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say on 3 Men and a Baby.
Alright, fair enough.
Back to you, sir.
Alright, my next one is a film, once again, that everyone hears that I like and just goes, what? This one actually legitimately shocked my wife that I said I liked this film. Billy Elliot. Now,
I don't know if I would consider that a guilty pleasure, but that's interesting.
That's the thing. It is a very good film.
It's a great,
And that is why I like it. It is a fantastic film. It's about a really interesting era of English history. Mm-hmm. The whole coal miners issue is brilliant to go into. I mean, they don't necessarily explore it that much, but the fact that that is the backdrop with this stuff happening is a really good thing. But everyone that I've said, at least in my friends, everyone that I've said I like Billy Elliot has looked at me as if I just said I'm a green alien with 2 heads. It's like, I don't understand. Why does everyone think that I can't like Billy Elliot just because I don't like a young ballet
dancing? Yeah,
like it's almost like saying, oh, there's no way that I could like Inception because my wife hasn't died. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just because I don't have the one thing.
Just because it discusses ballet or ballet takes place doesn't mean it's not a well-structured story.
I know.
Or it doesn't have interesting characters.
It's got a fantastic soundtrack. Even though I might not like all the songs, I understand.
It works well within that film.
Yeah, it's really well done.
Oh, yeah, I would...
And again, this is why I said at the beginning that some of it is just that everyone looks at you like you've just said something weird. And all I've said is, I like Billy Elliot. My wife looks at me and like, you like Billy Elliot? What? And yeah, I like Billy Elliot. I mean, as you say, it's a good film. So that is my defense.
We're agreed. Okay.
Just in case anyone out there is like, you like Billy Elliot? Yes.
We both do, and I'm a man.
Yeah. All right, clock.
All right. I promise I will get out of the 80s here at some point. It's not happening just yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to another film where 2 losers need to make a girlfriend or a woman, 2 little hornballs, and they create them on their, I don't even know what it was, an Apple II, or who knows what this thing was
Atari,
in 85, yeah. On their Intellivision or their ColecoVision, who knows.
Yeah.
But this film is called Weird Science, if you haven't guessed.
Yeah.
And we have Anthony Michael Hall, the Rat Pack member.
Yeah.
Ian Mitchell Smith as his friend. I can't name one other movie he did, but you got Kelly LeBrock. Kelly LeBrock as Lisa, the woman they create. Yeah. Bill Paxton as the dickhead brother Chet.
Yeah.
And the only other name I will mention is a small little role of Ian by Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to bring that one up.
Yeah. I didn't need to mention that in there. Yeah, so look out for Robert Downey Jr. if you did not see him in that or not notice him in there before.
I found that out after having watched it for the last time, so now I want to go back and just be like, oh yeah, it is Robert Downey.
Yeah. So, obviously they create this woman, and it's more than they bargained for. I love John Hughes. I would like to do a cast on him, whether by myself or with Paul at some point.
Oh, yeah, I'm a big fan.
It is definitely, I think we said earlier before we started, his most out there script, his most out there story. It is bizarre. And even spawned a TV show, which I loved, with Vanessa Angel.
Yeah, I
that ran for a few seasons. I don't know.
I think I've only seen about 10 episodes.
And then that's, I think, how she got Kingpin. But I'm pretty sure that's how, that was her first big role. But, I don't know who the friends were on that. But, but there are a lot of interesting things. They shower together, and there's, I don't know, it's craziness, parties, and, we're going to get in trouble, all that kind of stuff. And it's great.
Yeah.
It's once again, great 80s fun.
I really like it.
I like it. And, come on, they wear brassieres on their head when they're making the woman. How do you not love that? And then she comes in out of the smoke into the bedroom and jaws dropping, Yeah.
And then,
this
of course,
tall, leggy, brunette.
And then, of course, a fantastic way they then bring her back at the end of the film, where she, they try and do it again, and hilarity ensues. I'm not going to bother going into it, because it's actually a kind of funny twist to it.
Yeah, so, check it out. Either you're on board with that or you're not. Like all of these. And that is my time on that one.
Alright, this one I promise is going to be very quick, because I've only got a couple of things to say about it, and I'm sure Brian will have more to say about it.
No, we'll see.
Right. Basically, the second and third Pokemon film. Yeah, just
I'm laughing quietly, people.
Yeah, head is down, shaking. Basically, the reason that I really like these films, and that I haven't said the first one, even though I did watch that as well, was the second one, the soundtrack got me. The soundtrack...
Well, then buy the soundtrack.
No, yeah, I know. The soundtrack really got me, and I liked the idea of the story, which is just, this guy is trying to bring this ultimate Pokemon. Turns out, 50 generations down the line, there's no way this one could ever go up against the ultimate Pokemon, but whatever, by capturing all of the legendaries known to date. And, well, people are going to correct me there. Okay, 3 of the legendary bird Pokemon, blah, blah, blah. And the argument that comes from these people trying to create balance in the world, and this guy is trying to destroy that for his own pure greed, is actually an interesting idea. And then the soundtrack really caught me. And then the third film, I will actually say just watch it, because it's one of the best animated films I have ever seen, and I'm including some of the more adult animated film that I've watched, because some of the shots and some of the textures in it are just fantastic. It's almost as if Miyazaki had a hand in it. It's actually that good looking. I'm not necessarily saying that it's the best film for everyone, because it is Pokemon, but I was into Pokemon at the time it came out. So that's why I watched it, and I'm really glad I did. And now I know everyone's just going to laugh at me because I've said Pokemon.
No. You're in a safe place.
I was into it, and then past that, I think I watched maybe 1 or 2 more, and it really just was... No, I was done at that point, so... I'm sure people would have said, "Oh, you should have been done about 3 films earlier." But
I'm calling time on that one.
All right, yeah, I'm done.
I think that this one I think I might be even quicker on.
Okay.
Can you guess what decade this was from?
I'm gonna guess the 60s.
The 80s.
Oh,
yeah. And I think we'll get some shit for this one too, because 2 very unmanly words in here. Pretty in Pink. Yes. And once again, another John Hughes.
Yep.
You got Molly Ringwald. It is the...
Molly Ringwald? No.
No, of course. And once again, Andrew McCarthy is in here.
Okay.
John Cryer is Ducky. James Spader, once again. My second James Spader one. And
it's as if John Hughes likes to use the same people.
Oh, yeah, you never know. And, yeah, so not to be confused with 16 Candles, people. This is not 16 Candles.
Nope.
But I don't know. I think it's enjoyable. It's like, it doesn't get as much love as 16 Candles or the other, say, Breakfast Club, which is a fantastic film, not a guilty pleasure, which of course has Molly Ringwald and all the other Brat Packers. But I still enjoy it. I will watch 10, 20 minutes whenever it's on AMC or TBS, TNT, whatever they throw it on.
Yeah.
And usually they'll do that and 16 Candles or something like that. And hey, I'll make an evening of it. A nice manly evening of it.
Right. Sometimes you just have to do it.
Yeah. It's, she's just trying to choose between her sweetheart and this sensitive playboy rich guy,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wonder which way it'll go. That's my time on Pretty in Pink.
Right.
No more needs to be said there.
Alright, well, I'm just going to give you the synopsis of this one. And if you don't know what it is, then most people will say, well done for you for not watching it.
Okay.
Disgraced Navy SEAL Shane Wolf is handed a new assignment. Protect the 5 plumber kids from enemies of their recently deceased father, a government scientist whose top secret experiment remains in the kids' house. And it stars Mr. Vin Diesel as the pacifier.
Oh my
god. It is. Basically,
oh my god, go watch Pokemon, people.
Yeah. Basically, any
I thought we had hit bottom.
Any Vin Diesel film, with the possible exception of Chronicles of Riddick, I haven't watched it, don't really want to. I seem to be a fan of. I like the guy. What can I say? He's one of those people, a bit like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Any old Arnold Schwarzenegger comedy is almost like, it has a cult following of its own because it's so bad it's good. But Vin Diesel, I decided to pick the pacifier as the one to lead into it because I knew that would get that reaction.
I think we needed to have a veto rule before we started recording, where we just have one that's veto. Nope, you're done talking. And on to the next.
Well, if you want to do that, go for it. I'm fine.
Well, it's too late now. That would have been my veto.
No, you can veto it now. I haven't started going into it really. If you want.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I've just given you the plot. I'm not going any further into it yet.
Do we want to hear him go into it? No,
I think cricket.
No.
Alright, I will just say that this is another one I cannot give a proper reason why I liked it. It might just be...
Because there is none?
It might just be at the time I was the right age for the film. You know, I was a teenager and I happened to like Vin Diesel. I loved him in Pitch Black. And then he did this one at some point. I think it was just after Triple X. And so I enjoyed seeing him in the role, and that just kind of made the film bearable for me. And then I just kind of grew to enjoy it. So.
He was good in Saving Private Ryan. That's what I will say.
How short is his role in it?
Got about 10 minutes of screen time, maybe.
10 minutes. All right.
Yeah, somewhere around that, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. He does die, though. Yeah,
doesn't do too well on the beach storming front, does he?
I don't know. But he gets in there. Yeah, I think he dies, inland.
Yeah. Okay, I will say he touches the beach, maybe, as he sinks
no,
to the bottom of the sea.
He gets in, I believe. I think it's like into a town. I don't know. But anyway, that's...
All right, yeah. That is it for me from Vin Diesel.
Okay. All right. Now... This one, we're going back in time a little more. This is from the 70s.
Ooh, yay!
Yes, I'm getting more progressive. Let's see. Something, I will say, is hired on to run a tractor trailer full of beer over county lines in hot pursuit of a pesky sheriff. And I didn't say the key word that gave it away there. He's a bandit. Smokey and the Bandit.
All right.
I don't know if it's... I was thinking about this as really a guilty pleasure film because I know it has a ton of fans that watched it at that time. But if you watch it empirically, it is not such a great film.
Is it a thing that doesn't hold up?
And you hear that song, eastbound and down, down, trucker. You hear that 19,000 times, and you got the silly car chases, and it's Dukes of Hazzard, esque.
I was about to say,
it is Dukes of Hazzard before there was a Dukes of Hazzard, film or whatever. Or I don't know, maybe there was one earlier. I don't recall. Correct me.
The only Dukes of Hazzard film I know about is the Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson.
It wasn't Johnny Knoxville.
Ben Stiller. What the hell am I talking about? That's
you're talking Starsky and Hutch.
Yes, sorry, it is Johnny Knoxville and
Scott
Stifler.
Yeah.
Sean William Scott.
Yeah, there you go. That's it, Scott. Yeah, so I don't know if they're doing but it's very much that brand. Yeah, and you can't catch me, and I'm going to do this little trick, and keep on running. It's of course Burt Reynolds and Mrs. Lincoln herself. I cannot stand. Calm it down, Mary. Jerry Reed. It's Cletus. It's a good watch. One of those that's seems to be on TV a lot. Action, comedy, crime. Yep. 1977.
Action, comedy, crime.
And crime genres, yes. And on, I think, a few sequels. I don't know. At least one. I don't know how many. But that's the best one. Much like Cannonball Run, which I'm not going to go into, but...
I must say, I like the idea of, I think every film should be advertised as every single genre just smashed together. So this is an action, comedy, crime film.
Action, comedy, romance, crime.
All of that.
Film noir.
just like the rom-com of Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah. All right. What do you have?
All right. My next one is, actually, now this is going into the realm of what we said we would steer clear of, which is like you got your DreamWorks and your Pixar. Those are the films that every kid wants to see and every adult also wants to see because they're just so well made. This is before all of that, and this
Land
is
Before Time.
No.
I
would actually say, and this might alienate some people, I'm not a fan of the Land Before Time films.
I only ever saw the first one.
Right.
And I cried. I cried, people. It's sad. Okay, go ahead.
Did you also cry at the beginning of Bambi when the mother...
I don't think so. I don't know.
Dinosaurs? Yes, dear. No. Okay. No.
I like crying when real things die, Paul.
True.
Not fictional deer.
No. Some magical animal.
All right. So what is it?
This is Fern Gully.
I have heard. I think I may have even seen this.
Ferngully.
I don't recall it, though.
The two biggest stars, and I'm saying that from my point of view, would be Tim Curry as the voice of the bad guy in it, who is basically this evil pollutant monster that was trapped in a tree, which is accidentally released by the humans coming and cutting all the trees down. And then you've got Robin Williams, who is Batty. I will give you one guess as to what type of being Batty is.
Cow.
Yes. He's a batty cow. No. He's a bat that has escaped from a human laboratory that has been performing experiments.
That's laboratory to you and me, folks.
Yes, okay.
To anyone that's not related to Paul.
Yes.
I gotta get one of those in per podcast,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
Yeah, right. Quota match.
And this film is another one of those films that people are shocked I like because it's basically an environmentalist message type film, but told through these characters that I think it's another one of those things of they're more real characters than you normally see. They're not the overly excitable, like kiddie film characters. You've got a rookie fairy who is just learning to use her magic but doesn't really want to use her magic, and then does use it on this one human who's about to be killed, and he is shocked and annoyed at the fact that he's just been shrunk down to the size of a fairy, and he tells her, like, change me back, and she said, I can have a crack at it, and his response is, have a crack at it? Great, I've been shrunk by an amateur. And she's clumsy, and then you've got all of these other characters who are acting exactly the way that you would think that all of these people would act. I mean, you've got all of these fairies that just want the human to go, rightly so, and they're trying to save everything, and then you've just got Tim Curry as the wonderful Tim Curry, just being the bad guy, and then Robin Williams just being Batty. Basically, the way they get away with him being Robin Williams is he's had something done to his brain, which means every time something touches a little wire, he goes off the wall. And, wouldn't you know, it happens a lot. Yeah.
Fuck.
You can probably tell why I like the film. Right?
Alright. I'm going to lump these next two together as their main guy. Grease 2 and Saturday Night Fever.
Grease 2
and
Saturday Night Fever.
Because Grease 1 is not a guilty pleasure enough. It's not enough of a guilty pleasure.
I will say I don't think I've ever seen Grease 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that the initials JT are involved here.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I'm really not going to defend those beyond that. I like them.
This is one of those ones that you just can't really explain.
I hate disco. I love Saturday Night Fever. I usually hate those kind of 50s song and dance type musical things. Yeah. Love Grease too. So... Right. I don't know. That's it for me. Back to you, Paul. Okay. See how it's done?
Very well done, sir. Alright, my next one, it's another actor that I really like, and I'm not even sure why, I just like him overall. The film that I decided to pick for that, though, is Gone in 60 Seconds, the remake.
The remake?
Yeah. Because there was one.
Because the first one is good.
Yes.
This is what we're saying.
The first one is considered far better than the remake, I will say. Well, however,
yes, when you bill Angelina Jolie as like second, and she had 6 minutes in the movie. Yeah, whatever. That was a big old pulling wool over my eyes.
Well, yeah, especially given some of the other real actors.
And then you make Angelina Jolie ugly or whatever, tried to or whatever, just make her look dirty. What was her stupid name in that? 6 or 12 or I don't know. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, you can probably guess the actor that I'm referring to now. Then, top build.
Oh, and Cage.
Mr. Cage, yes.
Yeah.
I really like Nick Cage. I like Next just because I like Nicolas Cage, and I like the idea of time travel, seeing the future and stuff. I really, really like Drive Angry, just because I think they handed Nicolas Cage a blank check and said, go make a film. And this is what came out of it. Because he is just having fun, killing people, driving quickly, and being very sarcastic. I mean, that's kind of the idea of Nicolas Cage. I think in almost anything he's in. And it's one where I will say, a bit like, I know the Schwarzenegger film done on the list, but a bit like with Schwarzenegger, any comedy he's in, I'll watch, just because I like seeing him attempt to do the comedy. I will watch almost anything with Nicolas Cage in it, just because I like Nicolas Cage that much. And everyone always says to me, like, yeah, well, why do you like Nicolas Cage that much? He's not necessarily that good of an actor. And
he was in the 80s, I think.
Well, no, that's
and
the thing.
early 90s.
He was a very good actor. I would say he'd had some very good roles.
Leaving Las Vegas, yeah. Raising Arizona. What's the Western? I can't think of it right now, but I love that one, yeah.
Well, I will say The Weatherman as well, like a more recent film. I thought he was very good in that. And, it's just one of those ones of, I like the actor, and that kind of makes the film okay for me.
It had nice. I liked it because of the cars. I actually bought it because I liked the cars, and I liked. Yeah,
I will say But
the movie,
Eleanor is now one of the cars that I would want if money was no object, and I mean Eleanor with the turbo button. I want that car.
Yeah.
I think that's it for me.
All right.
Ding!
I think this is fun to kind of do it this way. I bet you will be able to by reading the description. I mean, this one's. One sentence, and I bet you will get it.
Don't say that now.
A high schooler discovers that he is a werewolf.
I think it was Teen Wolf 2?
So close. Oh! Teen Wolf, the original.
I can see that. That was a good film, in my opinion.
Yeah, back to the 80s if you couldn't guess. But of course you got Michael J. Fox and Jerry Levine as Styles. Who was the dad? Oh, James Hampton. Yeah. But, basketball team, and he turned, what? And he, of course, finds out his dad's a werewolf, and, the whole family is werewolves. Yeah. And you got the famous bathroom scene, where he's turning, and the dad thinks he's doing something else in there, like, unlock this door, whatever. And also, fun fact, if I'm sure most of you filmophiles know, but in the unedited version, if you still have it, you can see a man's genitalia in the stands. He does whip it out. I think he's shooting free throws at the time, or I don't know what's going on. I think that's what's going on.
It is just before the crowd stands up for the yay bit.
Yeah, and there's, hello, Mr. Happy out there. So look for that, folks. That's Teen Wolf.
Yeah, I will say, Michael J. Fox, again, is one of those actors that kind of gets a pass for me. I'll pretty much watch anything.
I want to see a Teen Wolf Back to the Future hybrid. A werewolf goes back in time with Doc Brown.
That would be interesting.
Why not?
I will say one more quick thing. I really like what they did with the werewolves in that film. I thought that was a good way to do it.
They could travel back to a time when, they're hunting werewolves or something, back to,
Yeah, or back to when
the
they're
Middle
just
Ages or something. There we go.
All right,
let's write it.
I'm sure Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox will come in for that. We'll make it a very bumpy ride back to the... I know that was a bit poor taste.
Hey. I'm just saying I don't want to have him do any of my surgeries. That's all. Okay. What do you got, Paul?
Alright, next one. I've actually only got a couple more written down.
So I might have to,
just try and...
start grouping mine.
Alright. An undercover cop infiltrates an underworld subculture of Los Angeles street racers, looking to bust a hijacking ring, and soon begins to question his loyalty when his new street racing friend become the prime suspects.
Well, Fast and the Furious.
Yes, number one. That was it.
Yes, because the rest were just crap.
That was the thing.
I prefer Tokyo Drift.
I will say there is one good thing about Tokyo Drift, and it is after the credits.
That I didn't
see. It is after the credits, they have a cameo of Vin Diesel. That is the only reason to see the film, and you could pretty much just not watch the rest because it doesn't really have much to do with this is a film. But yeah, Fast and the Furious is another one of those films that I tend not to be a big fan of action films, as it were. But for some reason, I'm guessing Vin Diesel in it, but I like Paul Walker as well. And I really liked how they did the car racing in it. I mean, obviously, if you look at it now, the graphics are dated. Yeah. But this was the first film where they really started, they were going into cars, showing you how that was working when they were doing all the NOS and kicking off and everything. And they elongated a 10-second drag race into a 2.5-minute scene by giving you the perspectives of all the other cars, showing you what some of the characters are going through. And I thought it was a fantastic way to do that sort of thing, because how do you make a 10-second drag race interesting? And they actually managed it. It's one of those things that I watched and it's like, well, I actually like this now. Not to say that I like the cars, because with the exception of the badass car at the end, they're all just kind of meh, in my opinion.
Like the films.
Meh. But that is the problem. If you now tell people that you like the first Fast and the Furious, they will say, oh no, because the rest of them are just kind of...
I thought it was okay. Like,
the first one
if I'm
wasn't a bad
using
film.
our rating system on the first film, I would give it about a -3.5, -4.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It is not a bad film.
Average film.
Yeah. And
it's not a great film either. Let's be clear.
No, it is not a fantastic film, but it is by no means as bad as people think it is, just because the rest of them aren't that good.
All right. Now, this one is pretty obscure for most people, and I doubt you're going to be able to get this unless it's something you really, Dracula is alive. In fact, he plans to rule the world, and that is why he seeks the help of other legendary monsters. However, a bunch of kids regarded by their peers as losers uncover the devious plan and prepare for a counter-strike.
I have to say that I have no idea.
I kind of think of this as the poor man's Goonies. Not as, like, they have really anything to do with each other, other than that features, like, a group of young friends.
Yeah.
And against big circumstances, these are monsters, Goonies are, pirate treasure and all that stuff, One-Eyed Willie, but...
Why does this sound like something that I at least know of?
It's called, from, wouldn't you guess it, 1987, The Monster Squad.
I've
and
heard
you might have heard the quote, Wolfman's got nards, when Wolfman gets, knocked in the man region. And you got Tom Noonan, that's the only real guy of note in there as Frankenstein. Bogus.
So if that's the only real guy of note, then...
you recognize the name. Tom Noonan.
I recognize the name, yeah.
Okay, yeah. But it's not a good film. I'm bringing it up, a little shout out, I hate that phrase, sorry, but to my roommate, Spider, loves this film, grows up and actually prefers it over Goonies. I prefer Goonies over that, because obviously Goonies is better.
I cannot say just yet, because I have not seen The Monster Squad, but I will probably
back me up,
agree
people,
with
back me up, Combs. Alright. But, you got the whole silver bullets thing. Oh, we got to make silver bullets to kill this guy. And, the little girl, meets Frankenstein. Even though it should be called Frankenstein's monster and not Frankenstein. They call him Frankenstein in this movie, which, is wrong. But if we're nitpicking at things wrong with the Monster Squad, that's kind of at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
The acting is horrible. The plot is atrocious. Very thin. But... there's still something about it I love watching. I bought the anniversary edition Blu-ray. I mean, it's fun. I will say that for it. Check it out if you haven't seen it, and just laugh at how bad it is, if that's what you want to do. It's better than Geely. Just don't spend your time. That's so bad, it's painful.
Yeah.
But this is actually some funny stuff happening on. So, yeah, that's the Monster Squad.
Alright. Well, the last one I have written down on my list is... I can't even just read you this because it will give it away straight away. But it's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I love both
I would
of them
agree with that.
exactly
I wish I had thought of
same.
that.
This is one of those films that is on my list because it is not the sort of film... the humor in this film is typically not something that I tend to
and it doesn't age well, that sort of humor.
No, it doesn't. But... for some reason, I just find Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves together as these two incredibly stupid.
Well, Keanu Reeves is, let's say it, playing Keanu Reeves, pretty much. Dude.
Yeah, this is where the whoa came from. And
free my mind.
And then you just got what was my introduction to George Carlin as Rufus. And I actually told someone that the other day. Somehow we were talking about Bill and Ted, and I said... and of course it's got George Carlin in it. And the response was, what? Yeah. George Carlin is in it? I was like,
and Socrates and Abraham Lincoln. It has a lot of celebrities. Yeah. Let's not just leave it at Carlin.
Yeah. And of course this was
Socrates, sorry.
Yeah, Socrates. Mm-hmm. And of course this was at the time where Lincoln was still 7 years ago.
Yeah. Really sad Daniel Day-Lewis didn't choose to go with that, just mimicking Bill and Ted.
If only he could have somehow worked into the thing. Be
Most
excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.
Oh, my lord.
but yeah, these films, for whatever reason, I just loved watching when I was growing up, and every time it was on, this was one of those films that I would sit down and watch. Now, unfortunately, I don't really have the time because it's never on.
I saw them, and once again, I don't think I'd ever need to watch it again. There's nothing, I don't think, in there for me anymore. Even though I enjoyed watching them at the time, I probably have seen them 2 or 3 times each.
Yeah.
You know, but roughly around when they came out on video, you know, something like that.
Yeah,
rented it a few times just because there wasn't a lot to rent, and you find something you like and you rent it a few times.
I used to own them on VHS. I had a TV that had both a DVD player and a VHS, and it was always in there.
Yep.
And for some reason, the replay value for me was just excellent. I could keep watching it. And I loved, for some reason, it always got me, maybe because I have an aunt who lives in France, which is a fantastic way of saying if you're with the English accent, an aunt in France rather than an aunt in France. It doesn't quite work as well, but just the idea of Napoleon going bowling and Addie's like just again and again, just for some reason. In case you can't figure it out, ding.
We need to have the timer for the board game out here. Hey, it'd be for me too, you know. Fair.
Well, you don't need it apparently.
Next round robin. Well, I am. Yeah. But next time we do this, we'll do a stopwatch on our phone or something.
Okay.
Like 3.5 minutes, and then cut off in the middle. Because it's going to bite me too, because the ones I really want to talk about, I'm like,
Why didn't we think of that earlier, actually?
I don't know. Because we're stupid. Listen to the movies we like. And we're the movie experts, apparently.
No, we are.
I'm trying to think which of these will get the biggest laugh out of you, or the biggest, oh my god, like The Pacifier. But I'm just going to name, since we probably should have counted to see to an equal number too, but I have like 4 or 5 or 6 more here.
Right.
But Pretty Woman. I think I just gave him a migraine.
No, do continue.
It's an implausible story, yes. I like Richard Gere. I like Julia Roberts. I'm not going to apologize for either of those things.
No, very good actors and actresses.
Yes, I like Jason Alexander. Jason Alexander's in there, you know. Some other people are in there. Whatever the other hooker was. But, hooker meets millionaire, millionaire apparently wants venereal disease. And, they fall madly in love. But, have some hijinks along the way. And, also, I believe in the 80s, I don't know. Or maybe that was 90s. I don't know. What was the year on that?
I think I will go on a limb and say 90s with that one. I think early 90s.
90, yep.
Yeah.
So,
very early 90s.
Yes, as early as you can get. But, you have the iconic scene of him climbing the fire escape at the end with the flowers. And, I enjoy it. I like the romance stuff. I like happy endings for the most part. And that one, delivers. And I will watch that when it is on TV. I am not ashamed to say.
All right.
Let the hate mail pour in, people. And then I'm going to jump to Armageddon.
Yeah.
Armageddon, not a fan, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm a fan of Bruce Willis in Armageddon, just because I like Bruce Willis.
And see, I have a lot of reasons here. I love Billy Bob. I like Bruce Willis, for the most part. Not Tears of the Sun, not the latest Die Hards. No more Die Hards, please.
Right.
I like Affleck, for the most part. I thought he was funny. It had Michael Clark Duncan in there. R.I.P. Michael Clark Duncan. Steve Buscemi. Well, he's been in all of these, hasn't he? Somewhere.
Even if he was actually just a cameraman, he was in.
Yeah, he was in there somewhere. He has a credit in there, I'm sure. Best boy, gaffer, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Steve Buscemi, who's the guy that plays the Russian. He's in, a ton of stuff. He's one of those faces you're like, I recognize him.
Yeah.
And, Liv Tyler. Love me some Liv Tyler.
And you don't want to miss this thing?
No, I don't want it. Oh, that did get a little ruined. Yeah. Every time that was on the radio, I'm like, oh my god, change it.
And of course it is, I believe, I saw a list. That song is number 2 on the top 3 played wedding songs of all time.
Oh my gosh, yeah. and they just wrote that probably in 2 minutes for that movie, but I don't know. I know there's some story about it, but it's of the Earth is Ending movies, it's I would say my favorite. The one that I know you're probably going to say Deep Impact.
I was actually going to say I like that one. I like Elijah Wood in that.
I like Morgan Freeman in that.
And Morgan Freeman. That's
yeah, great president. You know, a black president, a black sheriff. That'll be the day.
Yeah.
No,
it worked in some film, brother.
Yes. No. But obviously more possible than that Gina Davis woman president show. But yeah, that didn't take off. But anyway, before I get any more email here.
Well, I guess I'll have
I
to
did
add
like
Deep
both,
Impact.
but Armageddon, I mean, I don't know, it just works for me. And, you know, you got, yeah, I know it's, not going to happen, all that stuff. And it's, I will say, I get a little cheered up at the end when Bruce Willis has, to stay behind and he gets all those images of his daughter going through life, and she's, hand on the monitor, don't go, daddy, don't go. Laugh, people laugh. You have no heart. It's great. Okay, Armageddon.
I will say, as I did just say, Deep Impact then, for me, I completely forgotten about that film until you just started talking about Armageddon. It's like, actually, I really like that.
Pretty much you can throw any of those apocalypse movies into guilty pleasures. I don't know if any are done superbly. I mean, Day After Tomorrow, you got The Core, you got, what's the one with they fly into the sun?
Core, Solaris.
The Core is when they get in that car or something and they go into the
sun. I like The Core.
Yeah.
I like The Core.
Or something. Hilary Swank, was that Hilary Swank? I don't know.
In The Core?
Or she was in one of those, I don't know.
I don't think she was in The Core.
I don't know. Either way.
She might have been in Deep Impact.
Kind of all of those, I think, ride that line of silly, but just because it's a it's a plot scenario that has not happened, thank God, yet. And so it's always, you don't know that's what it's going to be like, but okay. And just going to mention this one briefly for my friend Grace. I'm just not that into you. I haven't seen it, but that's her guilty pleasure movie. So there you go, Grace. Hey, all right. Have you seen that film?
No, I have not seen that film, but I just had something pop into my head. Of course, I've now completely forgotten it. So keep talking, and it will pop back into my head. Go.
Well, all right. I will bring up my next one, I guess.
Okay.
And this is a film that I will say I should be ashamed to say I love, but I am not.
Okay.
It is most definitely, no two ways about it, a chick flick romantic comedy starring Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, where she plays a reporter and she is trying, to do all of these horrible things that would annoy a boyfriend. And at the same time, wouldn't you know it, his friends bet him to, the opposite, pretty much, to put it, and so, we're both lying to each other. The little twist, on the romantic comedy is usually the one person's holding something back or is meeting them through suspicious circumstances or, is not completely honest from the forefront. And these two people are both lying, Ooh, they did something different. But, wouldn't you know it, love still finds a way. Just like life in Jurassic Park.
Yes. Life always finds a way.
And so does love. And hey, you gotta love Kate Hudson in that yellow dress. Am I right, guys? All right. So did you happen to think of what you were...
No, I know it's not going to come back until after we finish recording.
Okay. So I'll just keep it moving along, man.
Yeah, keep it
moving along. I don't know, I might get some fallback from this, but I'm sure some people will think it's a classic, but it isn't actually that great of a film. Joe Dirt.
I've not seen it, but that is a David Spade.
David Spade, yes. Okay. Brittany Daniels.
I have seen the poster for it.
Yeah.
And based on that, I decided I'm probably also going to watch it.
He even says in the commentary, he says, the formula for this was say dang a lot, movie will be funny. And he pretty much says, dang. Gets hurt, or gonna see some boobs, dang. Yeah. And it's white trash heaven. And you got Christopher Walken. That you should need to see it for Walken.
Yeah,
see it for Walken because you love him doing comedy.
Oh yeah,
or doing anything, but comedy, is great. And Brittany Daniels, not too bad to look at. And you got Kid Rock, which is I actually don't like Kid Rock's music, but he is hilarious as Robbie in that movie. So that's Joe Dirt. I did church it up. All right. And I think I'm going to save that one for last because I think you will laugh at me the most. And
all right, I haven't thought of the one that it was, but I've just thought of another one, and it is entirely because of how old I was when I watched it and what I was into at the time.
The Dark Crystal.
Nope.
Oh, wouldn't that have been crazy if I was right, though? Oh, my God, that would have been incredible.
Okay. A team of teenagers with attitude are recruited and try...
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, and this is exactly how it's written. Are recruited and try save Angel Grove from the evil witch Rita Repulsa, and later Lord Zed Emperor of all he sees, and a horde of monsters. That is the show.
No.
No, alright. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. That is one of those films that I can't help but when it's on.
Which Pink Ranger is that? Is it Amy Jo Johnson in that?
I will quickly
because I will watch it for Amy Jo Johnson, that cute little.
Amy Jo Johnson, Kimberly Hart. Yes.
Hey!
I don't know.
I don't mess around. Hey!
I don't really know what to say with that.
Oh, she's so cute. Come on, she's like 4'10" or whatever. She's adorable.
I get it. It's just that the fact that
was the only reason I thought. Oh, that I knew who the Pink Ranger was. Yeah. And she does a lot of TV and Lifetime movies now, I believe.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, going through the
I think
list,
she's in something big though coming up. I don't know.
Going through the list here of the names, the only person I have heard of after this film is Johnny Young Bosch. And that is because he does a lot of voice acting for anime. And he was the Black Ranger, I believe. I may be wrong, and I can't find it. But I think he was the Black Ranger. But whatever. And this film, I liked Power Rangers. This film came out, and I thought it was a good film. It isn't. By any stretch of the imagination. But I still like it.
All right.
It is definitely a nostalgia thing for me now.
Okay.
And of course, it was when the White Ranger was in it, which wasn't very long, I think, in the show. Although I might be thinking of the Green Ranger. I think the Green Ranger was evil, and then became good, and then changed colours, and it was ridiculous.
Oh, I must say, yes. People, I think what you need to do is just hold off until you can find the box set of Pokemon and the Power Ranger movie.
Oh, yes.
Yes, hold off. The day will come. And your dreams will come true. Don't just rush out and pay the $5 for one. Pay the $5 for both.
Oh, yes. Unless, of course, it's on Netflix, in which case, happy day.
Oh, yes. Party time. All right. So now back to a callback to one of my very first movie, Weekend at Bernie's, which I mentioned. Which I should probably go ahead and have my backup.
Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Weekend at Bernie's 2. No, that's my Oh, that would be
And he's checking his phone.
Yes. I just need my support, but because I knew I'd mess up her name. But anyway, Catherine Mary Stewart as the lovable and adorable Maggie in this film, and Lance Guest as Alex Rogan. And I'll go ahead and read the synopsis here. A video gaming boy, seemingly doomed to stay at his trailer park home all his life, finds himself recruited as a gunner for an alien defense force. And the film is, Paul?
The Last Starfighter by
Yes, sir. Excellent. The poor man's Star Wars, if there ever was one.
And my preferred,
I will say. Thank you, sir.
I'm
so happy I lent you that film.
I am not a Star Wars fan, really.
I love me
this
some
film,
Star Wars.
Yeah, very much so.
And I believe Robert Preston's last movie.
Yes,
I don't know.
It was.
I think, as Centauri.
Yeah, based on what I recall from the, yes. Unfortunately, his last
film. His, awesome. Go watch Robert Preston's work if you haven't. But, basically, it's spawned a lot of gamers, I think. I think that's part of... I would have to attribute that as to part of why I love video games.
Right.
Is that I don't know when this Defense League is going to come recruiting me, so I better get cracking on this game,
If a whole bunch of walking mushrooms turn up, I'm ready.
This movie... I was 2 when this movie came out. So, I probably didn't see it until it came on TV.
Yeah.
In like 87 or 88 or something like that.
And of course, I didn't see it until you lent me.
Yeah, like 3 months ago or whatever it was. Yeah, but it is, I will admit, it's very silly in parts. The graphics do not hold up, but if you watch the specials on it, I don't think they're going to take you out of the film, but let me say that. But you can obviously tell when there are graphics. They're very blocky, very few polygons, not very highly rendered.
I think Tron, but less budget.
Yeah, but it was, if you watch the specials, which I'm way into those. They claim the first film to use computer graphics throughout. Like, not as just one little bit in there. As a main part of the film.
For more than,
you remember Star Wars came out 5 years earlier, but they used miniatures primarily.
Yes. Yes, the CG
miniatures and
was
forced perspective,
changed,
and so even though Star Wars looks really well, a lot of that is done with camera work and in-camera work and stuff like that, not computers.
I will say, to be fair to Star Wars, like you could see if they'd have made Star Wars not using miniatures, using the graphics available, then maybe it wouldn't quite be.
But I recommend people not go see, just buy The Last Starfighter. It's a good film, and you got Zur. Oh, Zur, I gotta love Zur, and Grig, who looks. I don't want to say it, but he kind of looks like it's just a turd. Does he not? But he's kind of like turtle, half turtle or mole, turtle mole person. But he's very chocolatey,
rather chocolatey,
bumpy.
Yes,
but he has the best laugh in any movie. That is his laugh.
Yeah. The sort of laugh like, did you just get punched in the stomach?
Are you dying? Do we need to do CPR? Yeah, it's just great to see this kid, go off. It's, I have a shirt that says, the trailer park, Starbright Trailer Park.
Yeah.
I love that shirt. I don't know, it's, just that classic kind of story of I know I was meant to do something more with my life.
Right.
And this just takes on that role.
Not just do maintenance in a trailer park.
Yeah, nothing against trailer park maintenance men. If you're happy,
go for it. This kid is
once more,
basically,
his
he's
friends
forced
laugh.
into it.
Yeah, his friends laugh at him for wanting to go to college, or waiting for the response, in the mail and all that, and doesn't go to the beach, has to stay and help his mom repair crap, and But hey, Catherine Mary Stewart, and there's a reason right there. Come on, forever young, and she's actually looking pretty damn good these days too. If I can say. All right, so The Last Starfighter, and I think you might enjoy. Well, not enjoy the film, but enjoy this selection, because you can tear me apart. Let me go ahead and look up the synopsis here real quick. But it is one I loved the minute I saw it. I will say, when I saw the trailers for this movie, I thought, stupid. I thought, that looks ridiculous. I want nothing to do with that film. And did not see it in the theater. And if I could even recall, I think I just rented it because I had seen everything else that was out at that time.
Okay.
And I just, Blockbuster was close to me. And I'm like, well, I'll grab 3 movies or something and pick this will be one of them. And if it sucks, at least I got 2 I think I'm going to like. That kind of thing.
How old is this film?
This film is from 2001.
Okay.
Yeah, so kind of modern. Yeah, within this millennium, at least.
All right.
But we'll see if you can get it from this. A poet falls for a beautiful hooker whom a jealous duke covets in this stylish movie with music drawn from familiar 20th century sources. I changed a few words because they gave it immediately away.
Right.
If you have nothing, I'll read it as it is.
No.
A poet falls for a beautiful courtesan whom a jealous duke covets in this stylish musical with music drawn from familiar 20th century
Shakespeare
sources.
in Love?
Moulin Rouge.
Which, wish it had been.
Yes, which I think we have talked about off air before.
Yeah, this is a film that I cannot stand. My wife really likes it, and me and my best friend, who was my best man at my wedding, and we were at university together, we did a film course. This was one of the required watchings for one of our classes. So we went to the viewing. We said, okay, we're going to give it a go. So we sat down and we started watching it. And when the Romanian, or whatever it is, falls through the guy's ceiling, we stood up and left.
You didn't even get into the movie.
No, I know, but it was that sort of thing of neither of us like musicals really, and I knew I hated most of the songs in this film. And I didn't like musicals
they're
anyway.
so well done.
And then the way that they started it, we both looked at each other and were like, "This is not for us."
Well, can maybe I talk about the movie?
No, ding.
No.
All right, carry on.
I don't know. The music, that was one of my big apprehensions. No, I don't want to see a lot of these 80s and 90s pop music, which I actually like.
Right.
I don't want to see them butchered by Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor, which I actually, and Jim Broadbent and John Leguizamo and whoever, it's a really good cast, but yeah. I think the songs were well done. I think the arrangements they used were really innovative, and just with the scene direction and climbing on the elephant with Your Song and all that stuff. I don't know. It's just the Can, the Gloria Estefan, one, and We Will Rock You, I think, is in there. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tragic story. You're writing, or you know it. You go in knowing that Nicole Kidman's going to die from the consumption. But yeah, she got the consumption. But
didn't coal miners usually get that?
I don't know. Yeah, it happened a lot at the turn of the 20th century. But I don't know, it's super stylish, as everything is with Baz Luhrmann. And I do love musicals for the most part. I just, like I said, I think I've said before, I don't like the really catchy stuff. I don't like the show-tuney stuff, like, Mamma Mia and kind of, those beats or whatever arrangements. But I liked this take, and the costume is great. The action is great. John Leguizamo is just a melancholy, heartbreaking character as Toulouse-Lautrec that wants love and knows he will never achieve it. He's, a little person, an LP, and being politically correct, people. Yeah. And I love it. And hey, I'm looking forward to Gatsby. So
I am looking forward to Gatsby, actually. Mostly because of Leonardo DiCaprio, I think.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I've loved, but I've enjoyed everything that he being Baz. Yeah. Being, Strictly Ballroom, which I did enjoy, and Romeo and Juliet, which I liked. Leonardo again,
Strictly Ballroom, is that the Australian film? Or is
that's Australia.
No. I cannot remember if it is Strictly Ballroom that is the Australian film. Is Strictly Ballroom a comedy at all?
No.
Then it is not Strictly Ballroom.
I don't see it as, Well, apparently it is a comedy. I thought of it more as a romance and drama. But
could you tell me who's in it very quickly? If you
I could. Paul Mercurio, Bill Hunter, Tara Maurice, Pat Thompson. I don't know. I don't remember recognizing anyone really. I don't know any of these.
I'm going to have to look it up later.
Yeah, from 92. Yeah, that was the first one. Then I think 97 might have been Romeo and Juliet, the readaptation or whatever, reimagining with Claire Danes and Leo. Hey, you like Leo? You said, and I think that was pre-Titanic too, as well. I believe
same year, isn't it?
Well, I think it was same year, but slightly prior. I don't know. All right, correction department, get on that. But I don't know. Yeah, it's Moulin Rouge. That's what I got for you.
And
I would say, before we go any further, I'd say probably Paul would agree. Send us yours. Send us the ones you agree with. Send the ones you disagree with.
Send us
the ones we didn't mention. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So
love to hear from anyone.
Is anyone listening?
And I believe, as I was telling you beforehand, like you were telling me of someone that got a hold of you. They listened to this podcast and they got a hold of you through one of your friends.
Yes.
So they're friends. They didn't bother going to our Twitter account.
I know you're listening.
Our Twitter account at Blockbusters, or getting a hold of us on Facebook. Facebook.com.
Like us on Facebook, Combs.
Come on, man. And we have 2 email addresses. I'm not even going to bother to say them on here. They'll be in the notes. They'll
in the
be
liner
on the
notes.
website.
Look on the liner notes on iTunes or in Hipcast.
They'll be there. There are plenty of ways to get a hold of us. Not texting your roommates.
Well, he's not allowed to text his friend. Let's not say that.
Okay, no. You are allowed to contact the roommate. However, specifically about this podcast.
Do both. Let him know and let me know.
Yes, there.
All right.
Anyway. We do read these things,
We love feedback. Good and bad.
Yeah.
And I think you're wrong about it anyway, the Rocky thing. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
All right. I'm not getting involved.
Okay. All right. So let's get through our Netflix sleepers real quick and say arrivederci.
Well, this one for me is actually a TV show. I did a TV show during the mini one I just did. And this is another one. It is called Father Ted. And it is a show...
Not fathered. Father Ted? Yeah. Okay, I didn't know how much you were delaying speaking there.
Father Ted.
Gotcha.
It is about priests. Therefore, Father Ted. And it's about...
Is it a teddy bear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is an Irish teddy bear
by Seth
priest.
MacFarlane? Okay.
And he is an Irish priest. He is stuck on this godforsaken island, ironically. He's been shoved there.
I'm making this worse.
There may be 1 or 2 characters.
And hijinks ensue.
Hijinks do ensue, but not because of the location.
Okay. Not because of my quasi-disguised pedophilia. Okay.
Yeah, this guy has been sent there by his superiors so that he cannot cause any trouble whatsoever. and he is stuck with two of the most inept priests that have ever existed. One of whom doesn't necessarily believe in God, but he's still a priest. And one of whom says pretty much nothing other than feck, girls, and drink. Okay. And of course they have a landlady who is obsessed with tea. Like, oh, will you have a cup? Oh, go on, you must have a cup. Oh, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on. And go on, go on, go on. And it's basically these really weird characters. And Father Ted, aside from the fact that what happened to him to cause him to end up there is never fully explained, but all he ever says is, no, the money was only resting in my account. Like, aside from Father Ted, everyone else is just batshit crazy, if I must say. Like, there's something wrong with all of these people. And Father Ted seems to be the only one that's like, I just want off of this island. I'll do anything to get off. And it's got a bunch of people that later became very famous. It's got a guy called Graham Norton, who some people might know over here. He's a chat show host.
He had an American version for like a year or two.
Yeah. And it's just a really funny show. There are some things where it's like, okay, that is a very Irish thing or a rather English thing, but overall just solid jokes. Okay. And definitely worth a watch, I'll say.
All right, good to know.
Obviously, I'm recommending it.
All right. And I am going to go with a film from 2000, a foreign film, and it's Bataroo Rararoo. I think that was the original title. I don't know if I butchered that, I'm sure. But American title, Battle Royale. And just like to say for all of you people that think the Hunger Games is the shit, and I know I shouldn't be antagonistic, but but still, or is the shit not shit?
I will say I enjoyed Hunger Games, but I didn't think it was a bad film.
If you want to see that plot done correctly and originally, it's So just briefly, this is in the future. The Japanese government captures a class of 9th grade students and forces them to kill each other under the Revolutionary Battle Royale Act. It is extremely violent. It is gruesome and doesn't pull any punches like the Hunger Games. Yeah. It's not, teen fodder. It's dark and darkly comic at times. And darkly disturbing at times.
As it would be.
But it is you're fighting for your life. You're making allegiances until the last moment where, when is this person going to turn and try to kill me? Yeah. Let's work together and we'll figure the rest out later. Because it's, only one man standing kind of thing. Yeah.
Actually, only one man standing.
Yeah, and it starts off with a bang. They get their little orientation going, and if you don't take it seriously, I guess you're not going to be playing the game for long. I'll just say that. It won't get any more spoilers, but watch it. It is twisted. Don't give subtitles as an excuse. You're educated. Watch it. And you don't even notice 5 minutes into the movie that you're reading. And really, if you don't even want to follow it, just watch the action. And it's still pretty crazy. It's like if Tarantino doesn't need to make this movie because it's already been made. Yeah. Like he would have. Pretty much. So check out Battle Royale. You want to see something really original. So I think that's about all I got in me.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I think. All right. Sorry, folks. Thank you if you stuck with us. Yeah. As always.
The what, two of you?
Hey, all right.
Okay, three.
Wait. We're going to listen later. All right, 4. We'll double the listenership. Hey. All right. Yeah, I should be downloading this. Come on. Have the stats, whatever. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm auto-downloading anyway on my app. Yeah. So anyway, yes. I've been Brian.
And I've been Paul.
We'll see you later, folks.